The Adaptation Fund was established under the Kyoto Protocol with a specific aim in assisting developing country parties that are particularly vulnerable to the adverse effects of climate change. Since becoming operational in 2010, the Fund has fully operationalized the direct access modality for adaptation finance. It has approved $226 million in grant funding for adaptation initiatives in 34 countries and endorsed 9 concepts leading to fully developed proposals in a further 6 countries. The fund uses a performance-based annual disbursement method which ensures accountability and a focus on results. These measures and others taken by the Adaptation Fund Board has resulted in the fund being ranked number 1 for transparency among climate funds, assessed by the International Aid Transparency Index in 2012. In terms of governance, the Adaptation Fund Board is managed by a board which is made up of 16 members and 16 alternate members, wherein the majority are from developing countries. In terms of institutional arrangements, the Adaptation Fund Board reports to the CMP and is serviced by an interim trustee, which is the World Bank, and an interim secretariat, which is the GEF. As for resources, the Adaptation Fund is financed by a combination of voluntary contributions from countries and a global levy of 2% on sales of certified emission reductions. Over the recent years, the price of CERs has decreased significantly, making voluntary contributions more important as a main revenue stream for the fund. Income from CERs amounts to $190 million US, and the fund has approved a total of $226 million US for concrete adaptation activities. Presently, the funds available to countries amount to $172 million US. As for accessing these resources, developing countries can access project and program funds through accredited national, regional, or multilateral implementing entities. Accreditation is a process whereby an independent panel of experts assesses capacities of entities in terms of fiduciary standards and environmental and social principles. 16 countries have thus far achieved the status of having a national implementing entity accredited, and those are shown in the map below. Additionally, there are 4 regional implementing entities and 11 multilateral implementing entities. One of the particularly interesting features of the Adaptation Fund is the direct access modality. Direct access gives countries a new opportunity to take full responsibility over implementation of their own adaptation priorities. Through this process, national implementing entities, NIEs, take on full responsibility for fiduciary risk management and project and program supervision, which was traditionally done by multilateral intermediaries. This process, we have seen, prepares countries for accessing other funds directly, such as the Green Climate Fund, and builds upstream capacity building through a process of learning by doing. We have also seen that this process results in a reduced lag time from approval of project to its implementation. Generally, NIEs have been able to go through this process faster than multilateral implementing entities. The Adaptation Fund Board, in recognizing the importance of direct access to developing countries, has reserved 50% of all of its cumulative resources for NIEs. And of the 16 countries which have thus far achieved accreditation of national implementing entities, 1/3 are from least developed countries or small island developing states. Thus far, the Adaptation Fund has been able to approve financing in 34 countries, which have accessed a total of $226 million for concrete adaptation projects and programs, as well as preparatory support to NIEs to use the direct access modality. There is an interactive map on the Adaptation Fund website where much more information can be found on the projects and programs which have thus far been approved. Now let's take a more specific look at what kind of activities are eligible for Adaptation Fund resources. In responding to its mandate from the CMP, the Adaptation Fund finances projects and programs whose explicit aim is to adapt and increase climate resilience. These activities have to be concrete adaptation with visible and tangible impacts on the ground which deliver benefits to the most vulnerable communities. These same communities are expected to participate in a consultative process during project preparation. The Adaptation Fund Board has not prescribed any sectors or approaches, giving freedom to developing countries to design proposals within their particular country circumstances. And all developing countries are eligible for up to $10 million in grant finance, including $30,000 for project formulation support for NIEs through the direct access modality. That concludes this short video presentation. Please feel free to email the Secretariat at the email address on screen for further information about accessing Adaptation Fund resources. There are a number of links on screen where you can find further information about the fund and its projects and programs which we've financed so far. Thank you and goodbye.